Good snowy morning to you. Got a little bit of snow, high winds, and 20 degrees. And our bird friends are definitely looking for some happy supplementation of their food. You can see the little feet marks. So I am today bringing you one of my favorite wildlife recipes, which is how to make your own suet cakes. So let's head inside and get started. As most people do, I use these wire square cages for the suet cakes that I make, same size as the ones you find commercially. And let's get down to the recipe. I have started by melting 1 pound of lard. This is the brand that I use. I'll link it up in the description. But I've melted the lard slowly, so it is now all liquid. And then we're going to mix together some dry ingredients that will be the base bulk of the actual goodness and protein for our bird friends. The lard is simply the carrier that will solidify and hold the seeds and binders together. One thing I want to point out before I get going too much further is you want to have your fan going, because lard is not a real charming smell. I have my Vollara rechargeable air purifier here that I keep in the kitchen when it's not with me in my car, and this thing is great. I've also got my whole house unit. Let me show you that one. Here's my Vollara ASP that I use normally in the main room, living room, but here I've got it in my kitchen because this baby sucks up the odors, and in doing this recipe I just like to have that extra help in taking the odors out. You can learn more about these wonderful Vollara air purifiers at the links that I'll include in the description. Here are the dry ingredients. In the mixing bowl here I have 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour. I have 2 cups of rolled oats in this bowl, and here in the smaller bowl I have a cup, about a quarter, mostly 1 cup of black oil sunflower seeds, and then I've added a few sunflower seeds that are already shelled, and this will provide the protein for the birds and their crunch. The flour and all these of course mix with the lard, which again is the binder. And then once everything is combined and cool, I pour them into the plastic molds that I actually saved from commercial suet cakes that I purchased. So let's see what our next mixed up steps look like. All right, so we've got our melted lard and then our mixed up dry ingredients, which is the whole wheat flour, rolled oats, and the black oil sunflower and shelled sunflower seeds mixed together. And I'm simply going to add a bit of the dry mix into the melted lard, about a couple cups at a time. And I don't want to dally too much because the lard actually, as it cools, it starts to solidify again. So I'm going to work a little bit quickly so that it's still pourable into the molds. We'll be right back as it's all mixed together and put into the molds. And here we are mixing the dry ingredients into the melted lard. Just want to show you this to emphasize. You want to make sure and get all of the oats, the nuts, no nuts, sorry, seeds, and flour coated with the lard. So now this is ready to put into the molds. And then once they're in the molds, it's all in the molds, we will just put it outside to cool and solidify because it's cold enough. It doesn't need to go in the freezer that's run by electricity today. All right, let's get this into the molds. And here we have 4 suet cakes from that 1 pound of lard. Certainly you can double the recipe if you want, make a bigger batch, but just want to show you what it looks like in the molds. And when you are just placing the mix into the molds, I like to use a ladle, works really well, and make sure that there aren't any like stacks of seeds or oats. Just kind of even it out through the little molds. So now these are just ready to go outside in the cold weather and solidify and then get put into the wire cage and hung out for the birds. Another tip I want to give you is cleanup. Yeah, this is kind of messy. And I use like the extra napkins that you get when you eat out, or even ones that are lightly used, and will wipe not only the cooking vessel but also the utensils, just to get, as I've already done with the fork, but to get that out of there so you're not trying to wash it out. And then I just put this in the fireplace to burn with my wood stove insert generating heat, and makes for an easier cleanup. Hope you enjoyed this recipe and do it for yourself if you're so inclined to give a little bit of food addition to our wild birds. Have fun with it, and it's another little sustainable thing you can do as far as not purchasing the cakes commercially, these suet cakes, thereby saving all the plastic waste and so on. Enjoy. If this was enjoyable and useful for you, please do share it with your nature and sustainable living friends. Make it a great day and project for yourself.